Hello and welcome back to another Watch Snob. I am your host, William Derbyshire Philip Jenkins III, and today we have a timepiece that's ingeniously British and unsurprisingly Swiss.
The year was 2004. Nestled on the quiet banks of the Thames River, three friends embarked on a boat ride that would change the world forever. No, not like that. After recently selling their toy company, Christopher Ward, Peter Ellis, and Mike French decided to start a business that fascinated them. It was obvious that none of them would become the next David Beckham or make sellout hits like U2, but they wanted something that they were passionate about. And after mulling over a few ideas, the light bulbs went off. They decided to create a watch company. Thus, Christopher Ward was born. They called it Christopher Ward because it seemed the most quintessentially English name out of the three of them, and they wanted to work on designing and marketing beautiful and unique timepieces. On June 2nd in 2005, in a converted chicken shed on a farm in Berkshire, they launched the world's first online-only watch brand. And it started with only two models, the C5 Malvern and the automatic C3 Malvern chronograph, but no one ever heard of them. Who was gonna buy a watch from an unknown brand in a chicken shed? And that's when their Tasmanian angel appeared. Dave Malone from Tasmania saw their ad in a local newspaper, and he took the chance. Later writing a review on timezone.com calling this watch the best valued mechanical watch in the world. And sales took off, catapulting this tiny little brand into the consciousness of watch aficionados around the globe. Now, as I mentioned, they ruffled a few feathers along the way, and on July 2nd, 2014, they announced that they had created their own in-house movement, the coveted Caliber SH21. The first commercially viable mechanical movement from a British watch brand in over 50 years. Yet, not everyone was happy. In fact, the CEO of a large Swiss luxury brand approached them and said, "What gives you the license to do that?" I just imagine him French for some reason. And in 2015, they ruffled a few more feathers by changing their logo. But thankfully, they like to listen to their supporters and they changed it back. I, unfortunately, got the bad logo. But nonetheless, Christopher Ward is now a household name, starting with three men on a boat to a now respected and thriving company who makes affordable and reliable watches for watch snobs all over the world. This is the C60 34ADA2- Produced in 2018, this automatic watch is a refreshing take on English style and Swiss luxury. The specs of this watch are as follows. The case is 43mm and is 316L surgical grade stainless steel. The thickness is 13.3mm. This watch is water resistant of up to 60 atmospheres. It features a red ceramic bezel, and the movement is the coveted Sellita SW200-1. Decked out in 26 jewels, this movement is not only a workhorse, but it has a 38-hour power reserve. The pros and cons of this watch are as follows. Pro. I think this is the first time I've ever mentioned a pro about the buckle. This buckle is so smooth and beautiful. I just think it's one of the best buckles I've ever owned. I mean, it's got the little push pins with their logo, which you know how much I love, and it's just a very comfortable strap and buckle, and I think this might be the greatest buckle I've ever owned. Con. As I've mentioned before, I got the old Christopher Ward logo. Now, this logo just looks so much like a fashion watch. It just looks like Daniel Wellington. It's so plain and just boring, and it's at the 9 position. Who gives a flying... The old logo in the watch that I had originally was the best logo they've ever had. Pro. The ceramic bezel is not just a red bezel, it's actually more of a crimson red bezel, and I think it looks really sharp against the stainless steel case, and I think the bezel itself has a very solid click to it. It's a very nice looking bezel, and it's ceramic. I mean, you really can't beat ceramic bezels. Pro. Now I know that weight doesn't attribute to value, but this watch is super heavy duty, and I feel like I could take this watch anywhere. It's almost like the perfect everyday watch because it's tough, it's strong, and I feel like I'm not going to ruin the watch by any means. Another pro has to be the second hand. It's shaped like the trident on, I don't know, Poseidon or whatever the his name is. It is such a cool second hand. It makes this watch so iconic. And also, I gotta give credit to the hour hand. I mean, just look at how cool the shape of this hour hand is. Pro. The dial has geisha waves. Ginzo waves, however you want to call it, but it is a wave pattern dial, and I just think it looks absolutely radiant whenever the light hits it. Another pro, we're on a roll with the pros. It has a screw down crown, which just makes it feel a lot more rugged. As I mentioned before, like I could wear this watch anywhere. Con. I wish they had an open case back to see that Solita movement, but they do have an engraved case back with the trident on the back, and it looks nice, but you know, I'm a sucker for my open case backs, so I'm gonna give it a con for that, even though I do admire the case back itself. Pro. They have their name everywhere on this watch. Even on the buckle when you open it, you can actually see Christopher Ward there as well, which I think is a really nice touch. Like I said, brand recognition is key to a successful luxury brand. I mean, look at Rolex. When you open up a Rolex, you see the exact same thing. So I gotta give kudos to Christopher Ward on that. And finally, we're gonna end with a con. Why the would you make your logo look like Daniel Wellington's and so plain and boring? I mean, it looked perfect the way it was, Christopher Ward. What were you thinking? If this watch had the logo that I had in my first Christopher Ward watch, this watch would be, bar none, one of the greatest watches I've ever purchased. And I'm just gonna say that hands down. This watch would have been perfect with the older logo. But like I said, they listened to their consumers and they've recently changed it. So kudos to them for listening, but what would you do it in the first place? Finally, we're gonna end on a pro and a con. Pro, the loom on this watch is fantastic. However, I wish they loomed out the bezel. It would have added so much more to this watch, but again, beggars can't be choosers. The loom is pretty damn good. All in all, this watch offers a lot of bang for your buck. I think I paid about $430 for this watch. Knew this was about a $600 to $700 watch, and I still think that's not bad for a Swiss-made watch with a hell of a lot of quality built in. Now, Christopher Ward is doing things with their watches that not many other brands are doing for such a young company. So I highly suggest that you go and check out Christopher Ward. Now remember, my name is Bill, I'm not a watch snob, and neither are you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy. Thank you.